Hello, this is a Bluthner Style 7 made in 1905. It's just sold actually, but I want to do a video of the casework as it's finished, because we did a video of before the casework was finished and it was very faded rosewood, so there's massive contrast. I want to do two things here. One is to just show how the casework is now and just bring out what we think is remarkably beautiful rosewood veneer, and secondly, I want to show that it was a bit action conversion on this piano, so I want to just talk about that a little bit more. But as you can see, this is the best, I think, rosewood's the best veneer to redo, because it just looks so staggering afterwards. Let's do others as well. Rosewood's relatively common on older pianos, and Bluthner's particularly, and Bluthner rosewood always comes out quite staggeringly beautiful. So just showing you the whole case, and as I say, the piano is sold, but I want to encourage, if you've got an old Bluthner that's very faded, then we can certainly be delighted to French polish it for you. We do, it's about 70 hours work, and it's about 30 coats of polish put on very thinly each layer, and then afterwards it's waxed, and not to be too reflective, otherwise you don't see you tend to see the reflection rather than the wood. So the whole piano, they all look slightly different from each other. This is pretty typical and high quality rosewood, which our polisher delights in doing. Here's the legs and the lyre there. We tried to make this lighter than it would originally have been, actually, because they tend to be a bit on the dark side, and try to match it in as well as we possibly can. And the action's been converted. I just want to show you what that means. So I've got a video of this already, but just to mention it briefly again, because we want to encourage it. But this is the original Bluthner patent action, and there's nothing wrong with it. We sell lots of them with this action. It's very, very common. Well, Bluthner's basically before 1925. Unless they've been converted, they really all have this style of action. Sort of 98% of them will have this style of action, at least, if it's not been converted to a modern action. So it basically operates, it's very simple. It's more like what we call a simplex style almost. This is called an abstract. It's a German word, but I think it's appropriate. It looks a bit abstract to me. You'll see the normal action in a minute. I'll compare it. This is a jack. Actually, it's best to look at the comparison now, I think. So there's the comparison with the normal standard roller lever action. Roller here and lever here. So that has better repetition, but not hugely better. It feels completely different, really. I think if you're used to playing normal piano, this feels normal, and this feels different. It has a different up weight. I've talked about this before, so really what I want to say is that we can convert it. There's no reason to do it apart from if you are studying the piano and you want very quick repetition, then it has better repetition and also feels like any other piano, as this tends to feel different. You'd have to try them out to see how it felt. But we're very happy with this style. We do many of them. And setting up this action, just very briefly, we've just been on a recent lecture, or my colleague has, and this spring has to be extremely even and has quite a light weight. If it's too heavy, you'll feel it. And also this spring here, which is the normal L-shaped spring, needs to be adjusted exactly right, so that if I release it, it should ideally almost go up, as it does on this one. But the problem is it needs to be exactly balanced, so it sits back down on this rail afterwards. If you adjust this spring to be too tight by pulling it backwards, then it will not come back down. So it's quite a delicate adjustment. Now, we are used to doing that. It's one of our preferred pianos, the Bluthner, very much so, and many clients love Bluthner grand pianos. One of the tuners do. That's one of the best sounding, one of the most stable pianos that you could have, really. So just a quick, I have got another video of this, so you could look at that video too. And here's the new action in the converted Bluthner action, and the whole thing is new. So you've got the keys, everything, literally the lever and the hammer. So this is a new Renner action. But it's got arbel hammers on, typical Bluthner arbel hammers. They make really excellent hammers for Bluthner Grand. So I've got another video of this, but just wanted to show it again because we're keen to promote this. So I've already made a video of this piano before and after, but it shows the old finish on it. which is extremely different as it's faded rosewood. And this is much more the rosewood kind of colour, and we try to bring out the best in the grain we can. And I've also talked about the replacement action, so wanted to just promote that as well. If you are studying the piano, you might want to change the action. The old Bluthner grands, say before 1925, all have this patent action, and that's been changed. There's a few exceptions to that, but very few. So if you've got a Bluthner grand before 1925, it's an amazing sounding piano, just so rich and beautiful, and we love them, so we want to do as many of them as possible. But there is this issue of the action, so if you're not used to a patent action, and you will find it quite different to play, so it's worth trying out beforehand. We do give the option to try out our pianos beforehand, so if you're interested in doing that, then please let us know if you can't come and visit us. So the action's extremely smooth and plays beautifully. Thank you very much for listening.